Well, I mean, for $112.
Talked about how it was like
Any dealership that's not willing to come down that far to make a sale really needs to reevaluate their business model, as these three will do business to the King Jack 8 board. A beautiful one for Bradley. Open-ended straight flush draw, and everybody's got something on the stovetop, including Barbero in the big with top pair currently. He's got the lead, not in terms of equity, though, with two to come. Look at Bradley, 50%.
Yeah, a lot of connection here. Checks the Timothy Adams open-ended straight draw. It's quite tempting to bet here.
Yeah, but the button opener decides to check back, close the action. Hello, 9 of spades.
We hit it. Was that a king, queen, jack, 10, 9 straight flush?
Bradley's just going to bet the straight flush, Randy.
Note the sizing, though. The smaller bet, it's okay. Kind of get those guys to call.
And Barbero, before making his decision, wants to know exactly how much Tim Adams has.
Well, for just 35K, you got top pair, 7 of spades. Seems like one of the spots where you just call and see what develops.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to want to
Well,
bloat.
what kind of chip? Those, the white chips are big ones, right? That's a raise.
Barbero disagrees, and I tell you what, he has certainly skewed toward the higher variance side of the spectrum in terms of his decision-making. Of course, during the pregame show, we showed you that check raise hand against David Yan with 3 players left. Played a massive one, much to the delight of Ding Biao, the eventual champion.
Nacho definitely hard to put him on a hand, as he's got these various lines that other people don't explore as much.
Look at Bradley looking over at Nacho like,
what'd you do?
What do you have? Ace-high flush would certainly be where Bradley would love to see his man. But it's just the 7 of spades working in conjunction with top pair for the bad end of a gut shot and a middling flush draw.
Yeah, I have to call here. By raising, you just look way too strong.
Yeah, Barbero drawn dead after Bradley makes the flat. The pot grows to 300,000. Now an 8 of spades on the river, which pairs the board. Bradley would love to be up against a boat. 4th spade as well.
Yeah, also good in case you're up against the 8th of spades. Nacho contemplating turning his hand into a bluff. I mean, I wouldn't see why you would bet.
How do I randomize this one? I check.
That's a one card shown first. Like, what?
Already straight flush on the third.
Very playable hand here. 10-9 suited.
Yeah, and Tom Dwan not one to shy away from an extended invitation to play a big pot against another big stack. This is first v second in chips.
Yeah, it's the type of hand that speaks Tom, especially with deep stacks in the high tension spot. Pocket queens for Thomas. This guy was down to 1 big blind, maybe less.
It was indeed. Got an ace-3 against king jack against queen 3.
A
Managed
brilliant
to hold.
spot for him. Do we know if there's enough of a raise to put in another re-raise?
So it's big blind 80k. Bonomo's open to 175, so 95k raise. Muehlocker is playing 310. 310 minus 175, Randy, is 135, which means there is a step. Hard of hearing as of late, Randy.
Well, he did put in a raise, didn't he? 475.
Has indeed, and
still kind of a tricky spot here, huh? He's got a lot of stack to play with. 10-9 suited.
And again, Dwan potentially looking to play a big pot.
And a small re-raise doesn't necessarily price him out with the stacks they're playing for. 300k more. I feel like he's going to take a flop here in position. Although there is no side pot. Well, there would be if he calls, right?
Dwan loves
he just
playing
plays for these spots,
big
doesn't
pots. So 4-bet pot, albeit an incredibly strange one due to the small jam from Muehlocker. So 1.1 in the main,
Yeah, it's a worthy side pot worth fighting for, so we could see some post-flop bets. 2 9s in the window, and that is a dry board. Great spot for Justin Bonomo, 2 8s.
Dwan, how do you do it, mate? Comes 9-9-3. As Randy mentioned, the pair of 8s got to feel good here.
There is a side pot to play for, which makes it actually worse for Bonomo.
Marlin. Tom Dwan is back, ladies and gentlemen.
The big question here is, do we call? Do we raise the flop in position? How strong do we think Bonomo is to re-raise to that sizing pre-flop? I suppose it depends. Yeah, makes the call here. If he's up against a big pair, get action on the turn and river anyways. Maybe his opponent catches up with an ace-x.
Well, the ace of diamonds on the turn. Some of the ace-x of spades, ace-x of clubs now getting there, of course. 2.2 million in the middle.
A good card for Bonomo in the sense that he's unlikely to lose much more with that ace.
Tom Dwan just one card away from being up to 6 million in chips at a bare minimum. See if Bonomo wants to put more money in the middle here.
Yeah, he's got a lot of showdown value here with his 2 8s. Just 1.1 on the side. Tom trying to construct what size to use here. Maybe mix in a couple checks here and there, but the ace could easily be in Justin Bonomo's range, right? Click back, ace, queen, ace, kings.
775.
Got a third pot bet.
Yeah, and certainly enough to set up a river jam should Tom want to play for all of it on the river. 2.9 back, already 3 million in the middle. Action on Bonomo. What an insane hand this has turned out to be. So Muehlocker, not loving life now, was in great shape to triple up with that ace on the turn. In dire straits, looking for a queen and a queen only.
Brutal.
To get us down to 10 players, by the way, as there was an elimination on table 2. 2 outs once for the Austrian as it comes. Ace, ace. Tom Dwan scooping a massive 3 million chip pot, regaining the chip lead, and now finds himself leading the final 10. And then we'll be picking up coverage of event number 6, the 50K. But dinner break, by the way, on this one, be throwing it over to Ali Najad for the mystery bounty prize pool.
There we go. Oh, look at that flop. King 4 suited. Ooh. I see a gutty. I see a flush draw. Limp pot BVB. But the ace X is going to fire away. Kind of sees that backdoor diamonds. Can press if another diamond comes out.
Artem with the over gut shot and second nut flush draw. With 2 cards to come, actually has most of the equity, even though he's currently behind.
Clearly a hand you're capable of raising, but because we're playing, you know, final 10, you're going to see the players take more passive lines, try not to put themselves at risk, especially with a 30 big blind stack, and that is king high flush versus ace of diamonds.
Blind v blind, 440 in the middle. Artem turning the second nuts, unblocking all the flopped pairs as well.
325.
And the Frenchman not slowing down, looking to empty the clip with that key ace of diamonds in hand. 325 into 440.
Yeah, I don't blame him for multi-barreling here, of course with the added equity, but he can apply so much pressure against these 9x, Jack X. Even Queen X might have a lot of trouble going into the river card. It's just a great spot here for Vezhenkov. Time card coming in. Trying to look a bit weak. Most certainly a reasonable hand to go for a raise, but you know, by calling, kind of maintain that weak image. Might be a nice play.
Well, these two potentially going to play close to a chip lead pot. This is 3rd v 4th in chips.
Love this call here.
Yeah, not really scared.
It just seems when
Many
you
cards.
raise, you always represent a flush, and your opponent can get away from, you know, one pair hands so easily.
Well, I'd expect to see the Frenchman continue barreling with his
1.2 million.
1.6 million.
1.2.
1.2.
1.2 million. overbet on the pair river, the 3-3 run out. Artem with the second nut flush on the turn on the paired board, now facing an overbet. Bet flop, bet turn, overbet river with 1.26 million on the line. Started the hand fourth in chips as he makes the call with the second nut flush. Up to 4.4 million now, closing in on Justin Bonomo. And with that, the Frenchman down to seventh in chips. Got to give him credit. Had the heart to pull the trigger, flop, turn, and river. Unfortunately, just running into top of range.
Ace, king, two queens. This is more important.
No doubt. 3-betting to 700,000, by the way. Clicky.
Lots of queens and kings then.
Like 1-4 more.
One big stack coming out.
You called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Auzoux was all too happy to hear Dwan jam on him as they're on their backs.
Let's chop. Let's chop again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's chop, yeah.
This time for a far more meaningful 4.3 million.
I'm happy with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Auzoux plays for his life in the balance and a king on the flop. Disaster for the two queens. That glass of wine would have been so much sweeter without that king of diamonds on the board. Turn card is a diamond, though, and Auzoux knows that other outs have been obtained beyond those lonely two black queens. Can he realize them? He can!
30.
Ouch. Okay, looks like he's decided to take a flop here out of position, but that's actually going to give Bonomo a chance to come along, and Bonomo weighing his options. Going to try and set mine here.
Top 3 stacks, and it comes ace, jack, 4, top pair against middle set. Problems for Artem Vezhenkov.
Yeah, he's definitely going to lose one bet at a minimum here. Tiny bet here. 275K into 1.4 milli.
275K as the fuse is lit in an incendiary situation for Artem Vezhenkov, who clearly is going to tread lightly. Now it's jacks full for Auzoux, but in many ways this is actually worse for his holding, given that Artem draws live to an ace.
So Auzoux here is obviously trying to figure out what kind of range the small blind is flatting. He's going to go small once again. The price is just insane, right? Like, just in case you're up against a similar type ace X, do you really want to fold now? Does look a bit milky too. Time card coming. This would be world-class fold here. I don't know how he can do it though. 25% pot on this board texture. Does he feel like he's getting milked by like ace, queen, ace, king a lot? Possibly.
It's so awkward, isn't it? Because
Calls to play.
you just know it's not lost on Auzoux that these are the top 3 stacks now that got involved pre Vezhenkov, third in chips,
Bad
cannot
card.
hit. Bad card because now he's playing aces and 4s with the king kicker.
Yeah, because what if he was up against ace, queen? He might think like, oh, we're chopping the pot up now.
Oh, this
One
is so
more
gross.
bet.
Sub 1 SPR, Auzoux asking for just about 1.5 million of it, and you just hate this spot, Randy.
It's a milky size too. I like the sizing here. Just trying to get that crying call from that ace X. He probably thinks his opponent would hero fold an ace had he jammed. Vezhenkov here is probably just trying to figure out, would my opponent still bet with just a naked ace right now? a really tough and hard spot.
I mean, the impact, palpable. Hood down, shades off. Adjusting in his chair, stretching. He hates every bit of this spot he's been put in.
Does Ace X try to push you off a chop? That's the big question right now for Vezhenkov. Pass. World class.
And Vezhenkov instantly rewarded with pocket aces as the poker gods smile upon his discipline from the last pot.
So he's playing a 13 big blind stack, and it just feels like if you flat call, it's way too suspicious. You probably don't have a flat calling much of a range at this stack depth against this opener. You probably just have to put in a re-raise for all your chips, or most of it.
Look at that cluster between 4th, 5th, and 6th. Just 2 big blinds separate them.
I know, it's a tight one.
Dvoress in 4th, Vezhenkov in 5th, Suvarna in 6th. 14, 13, and 12 bigs, respectively. And this is salesmanship by Vezhenkov, who is really feigning something cuspy or difficult. And Auzoux, 2 10s, perks up and asks for a count here.
Might work.
Our subconsciouses are not immune to this natural sense that, well, it's not aces. The guy, you know, he was really thinking about it there. Some false tells do get thrown from time to time.
Yeah.
All fair play.
Thanks.
Like, if you didn't have any tells, this would be a mandatory all-in right now. And he is going to go for it. I don't blame him.
Nor do I, as Dvoress quickly finds the muck, and Auzoux finds himself deceived, perhaps. Might not have mattered.
Might have not have mattered.
So meaningful
10 in the window.
and so nasty. As those poker gods that I thought were smiling upon Vezhenkov have shown their wrath instead on this King 9-10 board. 5 of spades on the turn, and the light flickers for the Russian. No. Vezhenkov put the ace-10 into the muck and then put his chips in the middle with aces and didn't get rewarded.
It's going to come in all in.
Roughly level with Dvoress, who wakes up to 2 9s. Could have some shorty-on-shorty violence.
Oh, man. It's the two players who should be the most desperate, right? The ones looking for a spot. 2 9s fares pretty good against this jamming range, generally speaking, for 11 blinds.
Round 3.
Daniel Dvoress looking to other stacks. Third place has 3.3 million, so quite a gap. Pushing it in there.
Understandable,
Nice.
but disappointing for Dvoress, who is run into 2 kings, as we'll play for 5.1. Suvarna has Dvoress covered by just 50K. But it's relevant, as Daniel cannot bust Santosh, but
Who has more chips?
to the flop we go. Ace-Jack 8. Turn card, not gonna deliver it, and we've got a 1-outer as Suvarna holds the King of Hearts. Is the magic there?
GG, Santa.
It isn't.
Okay, man.
And Dvoress,
GG.
such a gentleman.
Very good.
Fist bumps immediately.
Well, this is going in. Suvarna waking up with pocket 8s, and Bonomo just waiting to click call in the big with ace king O. Little does he know, actually behind in terms of equity. He's going to need to connect. Probably thinking, how is this a flip?
I know, right? Like,
How have I not got you crushed it?
but he got it. He does get it in good here for Santosh. Key pot for him to stay in this one. 3 million in the middle. 4 remaining.
Well, let's go. Spin the wheel, Santosh. King in the window. The jack and a 6. Couple of clubs. Neither player with a club in hand. And Suvarna reduced to just 2 outs twice. No backdoors available for the Indian champion. As it was close. 9 of hearts on the turn. Just 4% for Santosh. No dice as the 6 of hearts completes the board. A fist bump between all players. Love to see Santosh. Auzoux with ace king. Does he go for the 3-bet in juice?
I think so. This is such a big hand. You want the other hands to kind of put it in chips bad, right? Like if you jam, king queen goes in the muck, but now you give that king queen a chance to put more chips in there.
Kind of signaling to Bonomo that I still could fold. Should you jam? You have enough chips behind this, some fold equity
Of
to be
course.
pushed here from Bonomo.
And he knows his opponent is very capable of some 3-bet bluffs, so king queen is usually a candidate to see a flop here.
Bonomo starting the hand with 22 big blinds. 22.3 to be exact. 3.1 million out there. Is Auzoux up to no good with a light 3-bet from the small? We can see the answer to that is no. He's going to make the call. Big pot brewing here, Andy. Look at that stare down from Bonomo. Both players connecting on the ace-queen 4. Nut middle pair for Justin. King of hearts for backup.
9 of hearts.
Trouble flop for him, right? He's picked up middle pair with the backdoor heart draw. For him to call here pre-flop means, you know, he knows he's up against some random hand here and there. Really just can't go anywhere, especially for this price of 900K.
Yeah, almost 20% pots. As you mentioned, nothing he can really do other than click the call button. 8 of diamonds on the turn. Those backdoors that we mentioned no longer an option for Bonomo. Looking for a queen and a queen only with 6.2 million in the middle as Auzoux jams turn. Bonomo can get away from this.
I don't really see how he can call here. I mean, the opponent is very ace-x heavy. To 3-bet you, bet flop, and still bet turn. Holding king of hearts not good in case you are up against, you know, like a king jack of hearts, right? You're blocking those hands. You see he's trying to talk it out.
Got a big hand down there?
Auzoux giving nothing away. Justin Bonomo trying his best. Get his opponent talking. Can pick up on something.
How many do I have so far? Say again?
Not often you see #1 in the world, all-time earnings, pained by a spot.
How much is it?
Bonomo asking for a count. Obviously knows that he's covered, but does want to know how much Auzoux would be left with if he called and was correct. Some future game EV to be calculated, of course.
Yeah, just any extra info you can get that hopefully pushes the decision one way or the other. You can see that he's on the cusp.
Now used 5 tie banks. Just said if I call and I win, you're going to be very short.
A lot of Tom cards in.
Nice hand either way.
Add it, add it.
The I had it.
Well,
Just one,
if you had better than me, you would have called. That's for sure.
10-cent offsuit in the big blind. 11 big blinds. Clear short stack. You'll see a lot of defenses with this kind of stack size and this stack distribution. Comes in with a call. 1.6 million in the middle. That's a lot of chips compared to Justin's stack.
Oh, what do you know? Dominated pre, top pair, post, Bonomo with an open-ender on the 9-8 deuce. And if Auzoux couldn't get all of his chips last time, the money may find its way in the middle now. 400,000 continuation bet.
Yeah, quick 25% C bet. Justin Bonomo here. Open-ended straight draw. Against a small bet, which is perceived to have a lot of forward equity. He's going to jam it in.
Ah, I'm such a fucking
Pair of nines has to continue here.
counts, please. Precise counts.
We'll get a count. Just under 9 big blinds more to him with top pair. Backdoor draws in conjunction with it as well.
What a reaction from Auzoux, the emotion facing the check jam. As Bonomo goes stoic.
I call.
He does make the call with top pair, three-handed. Button v big blind, difficult to get away from. He does have the best of it. 60% of the equity, in fact. All in brought to you by bookmaker.eu. If Auzoux can hold Randy, it's going to be up to 16 million chips. The King of Diamonds on the turn changes nothing for a $300,000 ladder. Bonomo needs a jack, 10, or a 6. No dice as the board pairs the 8 of clubs, completes the run out. And we're going to lose the American two-time Triton champion and #1 on the tournament earnings all-time money list, Justin Bonomo.
It is 30 blinds effective. Heidorn going to start with a limp. So they just made a deal. We'll see if that affects play at all, where maybe they splash a little bit more. But still a lot to play for, as we do have that prize as well as the Triton title, Shambhala Jewels. Of course, Ace King going to bump it up.
1.4.
Well, it's gone north to
3.5x.
1.4. Is Heidorn looking to pounce it? Ace-4.
It seems coincidental, right? Like the player has opted to raise your limp on the first hand right after a deal has been made. Maybe feeling a little bit looser as they guaranteed that million score, and it's an
word.
all in and a call incoming first hand right after the deal.
Unless Heidorn can spike the 3 outer or some form
Yeah,
of
no
a
deal,
chop.
no deal.
No deal. We cannot.
I thought it aces. Ace 4?
You thought it was aces?
Yeah, I thought it was aces.
No way. I would have gave you your chips back.
Heidorn obviously joking with Gregory that he thought it was aces. So Robert does cover by 2 bigs. If he can spike the 3 outer, it's going to be champion. So far, so good for Gregory with the ace-king. Does need to avoid running spades. There are some turn sweats available. That not one of them, although it does now
Opportunity.
bring 4 outs for a chop. 24.2 million in the middle. Heidorn looking for a 4 and a 4 only. No dice as the Jack of Hearts pairs the board.
No. What
And no chop.
All in?
Auzoux suited Jack on the button. Heidorn with Queen 6 in the big. Makes the call and again finds himself ahead. As Israel will say, easy double. And now, if Heidorn can hold Randy, he's going to be playing 13 big blinds and he's right back in this.
He really would be in contention. 60-40 favorite.
Oh, deuce in the window. King 4 deuce, couple of diamonds. 2 overcards to Auzoux's pair, of course, for Heidorn. 7 of spades on the turn, meaning that Heidorn is drawing to 6 outs once. Auzoux can hold. We have a champion as the King of Spades completes the board, and Heidorn tried to spin the wheel, Randy, to fight his way back into this one, but still has to be thrilled with his run here in Northern Cyprus, coming second in the 40K 8 max for a career best cash of $1,057,000 and fresh off of a final table in the 25K GG Super Millions event number 1. It's 2 final tables in 3 events. For Robert, has to be feeling incredible about his game. But for now, our champion, Gregory Auzoux.